There was something that happened to me a number of years ago in my office in shul that has had an impact on me today still when I leave my office. And that is, I think I was going out of the office relatively quickly, going into shul, and I didn't realize, but the door is very heavy. And so I pulled the door with one hand, and I guess it moved so quickly that I couldn't get my finger out of the way in time. And the next thing I knew, I was in excruciating pain, and my finger was all bloodied for quite some time. And to this day, every time I close the door to my office, in my mind, I think of that incident, and I sort of put my foot in the door so that I make sure that my hand clears the door beforehand. In one of the parshas that we read this week, Parshas Kedoshim, we have a pasuk that we're all familiar with. V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Hashem tells us that we have to love our fellow as ourselves. And this, Rabbi Akiva comments on and says, Zeh klal gadol b'Torah. This is a principle for a Torah lifestyle, for a Jew, that we have to think this way. We have to program ourselves to think this way. Yet sometimes this commandment of V'ahavta l'recha kamocha can be very challenging. And so Rav Avram Chaim of Zlotchev Zecher Tzadik Levracha asked his Rebbe, Rav Shmelk of Nikolsburg, he said, how is it possible for us to fulfill this mitzvah of V'ahavta l'recha kamocha, even when we know that there's someone who's just not a good person? They just don't come across, they don't act like a good person who cares about other people, someone what we would determine to be a Rasha, someone we determine to be really negative, bad on the surface to us. It says, how do you find the space inside to love that person who represents the opposite of what it is that we try to project in the world? And so Reb Shmelka explained to him as follows. He said, all of the neshamos, all of the souls of the Jewish people are connected in one big soul. Of course, we have the halachic concept of Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh Bazeh, that all Jews are connected. And so Rav Shmelka says we're all one big soul. And just like we are all one big soul, we're all one big body. He said, if one time, or if at some point, one part of our body damages or hurts the other part of the body, we don't take out our anger on the other part of the body. So, for example, if one hand pulls a door on the other hand, we're not angry at the one hand for pulling the door. We might be angry at ourselves for not being careful enough, but we don't get angry at the other part of the body that, quote, committed the act which caused pain to that finger or to that hand. And so he explained that we're all interconnected. And when people may present themselves as not being upstanding, not acting in the right way, we can't simply throw them away and consider them not to be a part of the whole, not to be a part of the soul of the Jewish people, but we have to be able to find the value within the individual. Just like we find the value in the hand that may have caused damage to the other hand, but has tremendous merit because it has done so much for us in many different positive ways. And as we try our best to fulfill this mitzvah, let us recognize that each and every one of us has those elements of our personality, of the way we present ourselves, that can be seen by others as being positive, and we also have elements that might be seen as being negative. If we try our very best to focus on the fact that we are all connected and that we should try to see the good in each other, then we will be able to be in fulfillment of the mitzvah of V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.